Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, I've been invited by Altenew to be part of their Quiet Reflections blog hop, and there is a giveaway going on with the blog hop. I encourage you guys to have fun and check it out. Just click on the link down below and it'll take you to my blog, or I'll list Altenew's blog too. That way you can start at the beginning. It's always great to start at the beginning. But today I'm going to share with you this stamp, and it's a stamp and die set. They offer the stamp set separately, the die set separately, and they also, Altenew offers it in a combo. This is the Blissful Blossoms stamp set. I created a card with it, so you'll see this card over on my blog. I'm not going to create the card with it on my video today, but I did want to share with you the brochure and how pretty it was. But there's step-by-step color guides and with the Altenew inks, and then there's also a layering guide that shows you how to layer. Okay, I'm also going to be playing with this stamp set today for my project. This stamp set here is called Inspirational Quotes. Beautiful quotes. Never apologize for being more than they thought you should be. Isn't that so pretty? Another one says, "Let your smile change the world, but don't let the world change your smile." I just think that is so beautiful. So today we're gonna create a project with this. It does have a die that will die cut out that beautiful floral swag. It's just gorgeous. This is most Altenew's stamp sets do have brochures. On the back it shows you those sentiments, but it gives you a coloring guide option, and then it also gives you inspirational guide, 4 of them actually, that you could trim down and put immediately on a card for a quick and easy card for this one too. But the color guide shows you what colors to use to create your projects with the Altenew inks. I think that's so handy. But we're going to use watercolor today for our cards. I picked up the 36 pan of Altenew watercolors. I've never bought a watercolor set before, and I was super excited to try it on this stamp set. So we're going to jump in. I have some watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to place the large swag inside my MISTI. Now this would be perfect for a slimline card, but for today I'm going to make a standard A2 size card. Now I'm going to adjust the top of the stamp set just so it fits in the top of my card base. Now, when you do this, you need to know that your die is not going to fit it if you adjust the shape of your swag. Today I'm going to do partial die cutting, so it's going to work out just great. But if you do kind of manipulate it to a different shape, just be aware that if you have a coordinating die, it's not going to cut it out the way you want it. Okay, I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink on my watercolor cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp it a few times, get a good impression. And I'm using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink because I'm going to go over it with gold embossing powder, and we're going to heat set this real fast. I'm just going to scoop some gold on here, use my heat gun and melt it, and then we're going to, actually we'll set this aside and do a little more stamping. We'll emboss at the same time. How about that? I thought I would layer, so I wanted that flower. So I'm just going to ink the flower up and stamp it on another piece of cardstock. And then there's some detail florals in the stamp set. There's some leaves, some single leaves, and then some also flower buds. I'm going to stamp these as well on this panel. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them all, but I wanted to have them just in case. We'll just make sure that they fit in here. I'm going to stamp the single leaf a couple times, and then we'll go ahead and add gold embossing powder over this panel too. Since it's VersaFine, it stays sticky a little bit longer. So, and I don't mind using my gold embossing powder over the black ink. It does tone it down a little bit, but it does emboss gold, and I like that because I can see where I'm stamping. So there's my panels. I'm going to zoom in, bring in my watercolor pan set. I was super excited about this. This is very, very popular over at the Altenew shop. And so I was so neat. I was super excited about playing with this. There's tons of colors in here. There's little half pans, and there's 36 in total. So, and then there's also a water brush. So we're going to go ahead and open up our water brush. We'll use this for our card today, and then I'm going to fill it up with some water. And then we are going to get to watercoloring. I'm going to spray my panel with my distress sprayer just to get it saturated, and then I also sprayed over my watercolor pans just so they're nice and juicy. I thought we'd create a pink and corally card with some olivey green leaves. While I color with my watercolors, I will play a little music for you, and then when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, I just about finished up, and I loved how vibrant these colors are. I thought the pinks and the corally colors were going to be a little bit of a pastel, but these are really nice. They stay true to their color in the pan that the pans show. So I think I'll be using this pan set a lot. Now you can see when I used the coordinating die, I just partial die cut it out. I put my top cutting plate of my my Platinum 6 over the bottom part of my image where it started to curve outside of my die line, and then this way it just cuts the top portion. Next, I'm going to take my T-square ruler here, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a diagonal or a straight line, but I decided to do a straight line cut. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil, mark where I need to cut, and then use my scissors. If you have one of your paper trimmers with a cutting blade versus a guillotine, you could very well use that, but scissors will work just fine as long as I have a guide, granted, because if I didn't have that pencil mark, I'm afraid I would get it real crooked. You can see how pretty it is. Love this image. I'll go ahead and trim down this side all the way up to the cut line. So I have stamping on my watercolor panel, and then I have it die cut out in the bottom half. Now I wanted to adhere this to some pretty bright pink cardstock, so I went ahead and grabbed my sentiments, and this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch pink panel that I created with some pink cardstock. I'm going to stamp the sentiment. There's lots of larger sentiments that you can customize and build, so I grabbed the one that says "Know This," and then underneath it the sentiment will say, "Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful." I love that, and I think it's very true. I'm going to treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool, and then we are going to use our floral as an image to where to place our sentiment, and then we'll ink it up with Versamark ink. We'll stamp this off to the right here. And then after we have this stamped, I'm going to go over it with some white embossing powder. It's going to stand out against this real bright pink cardstock. And then I'll use my heat gun and melt it, and our sentiment's good to go. Okay, I removed the anti-static powder from my panel. It does dull it down quite a bit. Now my panel warped a little bit, so I'm heavily adhering lots of tape adhesive behind my panel, and then we're going to adhere this to the same color card base. If you wanted to adhere this to a white card base, you could, but I thought since we had the color, we might as well go all pink. We'll tape the card front down. After this is taped down, I did add foam adhesive behind my flower here. And I love how it just pops against that real pretty pink background. Now we have some extra pieces that we can build upon. I like layers, and so I decided to trim off the bottom of this flower bud. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here to the very bottom. I'm going to tuck it underneath my florals, and each one of those flower buds have foam adhesive behind it. So there's dimension on the top portion of my card, and I love the way it turned out. I did add foam adhesive behind this leaf piece, and then 2 single ones. We're going to do a little tucking here. And then just for a little balance, I'm going to put 2 of my single leaves in the bottom left corner here. You don't have to do much when you have a beautiful image. I just think this is gorgeous, and the sentiments are like the name of the stamp. They're very inspirational. I like that. I'll just glue this one down. The first one I glued down, I did add foam adhesive behind. Okay, now last but not least, we're just going to add some bells and whistles. I'm just going to bring in some white gems. We're going to add them a little here and there for some sparkle. But that finishes off my card for today, guys. I encourage you guys to join in the fun in the blog hop. There's actually 11 giveaways, so your chances are great. Details for that over at the Altenew blog and my blog too, if you guys want to just check it out. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a fabulous day. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.